welcome to class. Today we're going to deal with module 1. And module 1 is about leadership models. So we are going to see the concept leadership already in N6, so you understand more this leadership because we have seen it in supervisory info. And now we are going to really bring to try to separate deeper what is leadership compared to management. Introduction. Leadership is the process whereby one individual influences members of a group to achieve certain goals. So in this definition, what is most important is this concept. Firstly, we are talking about individual influences members. You see, so a leader must have followers, which are the members, and he must be able to influence them. So you can't be a leader if you don't have followers. So you must make sure if you want to be a leader, you must have followers. You must have people who follow you. So for you to reach the level of people following you, you must be capable of influencing them. Create yourself a place in the heart and in the mind so that they will care about what they can get from you to achieve certain goals. There are goals which must be achieved. So the followers, when they are going after a leader, is not only about the name of the leader, it's about the goals that these people want to accomplish. And they've seen in the leader that if we follow this guy, we'll be able to achieve the goals. The outcome of the leadership process has more to do with getting results and achieving goals than with procedures and policy. You see, there are differences. Then to difference procedures and policies and achievement of goals. It's true that in N4 supervisory, we saw that procedures and policy are very important in an organization because it's helping people. It's like giving us guidelines for us to achieve our goals. Now here in terms of a leader, it's not about the procedures of the company or the policy of the company. It's mostly about how can me as a leader get these people achieving the goals. These are the results me as a leader I'm focusing on. I'm seeing them. I'm predicting them. Leadership versus management. Already we can see in the outcome of leadership process, we've seen getting results and achieving goals, then procedures and policy. You see, when you are talking about procedures and policy, is about management. Now, let's go to this comparison. Although all leaders are managers in certain respect, why is it that all the leaders are managers? Because you can't be a leader with ignorance in management. You are dealing with people. You are dealing with a group of people. So management is very important because it's helping us to know how to interact and how to communicate, how to be with the people around us. That's why they say, although all leaders are managers in a certain aspect, because they need to have this skill of management because they are dealing with a group of people. Management and leadership are not synonymous. This we have to bear it in mind. A manager is something, is someone else. A leader also is something. So a manager can be or can't be a leader, or a leader can be or can't be a manager. We'll understand this later. A leader can have influence on the ideas of other people but does not control them. You see, a leader is mostly dealing with how can I influence this group of people to reach the goals. The leader is seeing the result, not only everyday tasks. He's seeing the result and in thinking, how can I play my role as a leader to influence the ideas of these people so that they can reach the goals, but not controlling them. A person can be a manager by virtue of the authority of his position within the organization without being a leader. Now you see, manager is mostly related to the position which is given to someone in an organization. He has authority on these people due to his position and the manager in the organization. So he has the right to control these people in his management. But a leader is not a manager to control the people. He is there to influence the ideas so that they can reach their goals. And manager now is there to control them if these people, they are walking in the path of achieving the goals. Managers exercise authority on the subordinates because of their position, and leaders exercise influence on them because leadership is not a position. Leadership is a style that you are using to reach your goals. You have a vision. For you to take these people to achieve your vision, you need to have a style that you are going to use so that these people will achieve your dreams. But manager is there to control what they are doing. A leader sets direction for the subordinate and communicate it for them to act on it. You clarify your vision, you communicate, you share your vision, you convince these people in their ideas and mind, so that each and everyone in his inner part will feel responsible to do, to accomplish, to do what the leader said. Management is a broader concept than leadership. We'll see it soon. Management functions include planning, organizing, directing, and controlling. These are the four functions of a manager. A manager must know how to plan, how to organize, how to direct, how to control the activities of the organization based on his position, and he has subordinate. So he's dealing with these functions throughout his daily work with his subordinate. Leadership is included Leadership is included in the directing function of the management. So throughout these four functions of management, leadership starts after the two first functions. First you plan, secondly you organize. Now for the people to take action, to start applying, implementing, executing, then they need leadership. That's why they're talking about direction. You see, we say leadership is the one who defines the direction so that people can follow that direction. So you see, it's under management. Leadership is included in directing function of the management. So when the manager reach this function of directing, need leadership. Leadership behavior. Initially thinking, leadership behaviors could be taught and learned, unlike personality trait. This is where in N4 we discussed is a leader born or a leader can also be trained. We see both cases can be used. When we're talking about the personality trait, this is inherited. So someone is born with personality trait. Now, when we are talking about being taught and learn, so this is about education. Someone can have the personality trait and still need some education to perform well is leadership, because we are going to see there's not only one style in terms of leadership. We saw it already in N4. Secondly, due to the variety of situations which require leadership, not all leadership behaviors are transferable. So you see that it depends on the situations, daily situations that you as a leader you are facing. So each and every situation, the situation requires a certain style of leadership. It's not only the personality trait that you have, charisma that you have, will help you to come through, to break through the situations that you are facing daily in your leadership. Two aspects of leaders' behavior. The first one, leadership functions, and the second, leadership styles. So we see that we have the function as a leader, and we need also styles. I've defined already about the style. I said it's not like all the situation that you are facing, you're gonna use only one style of leadership. Each and every situation requires a certain style of leadership to break through. Let's start with the first one. Leadership functions include task-related or problem-solving functions and group maintenance or social functions. You see, when you're talking about the function, we're seeing the performance throughout your activity as leader. Task related. What activities you are on? How do you solve the problems that you are facing? Because a leader must be there to solve the problem that the subordinates are facing. Group maintenance. How do you maintain this group of your people? Social functions. How do you interact with them socially? This is about the leadership functions. Now, whereas leadership styles, this is that we are going to see soon, though in N4 already. Remember, this is the first module, so we are getting what we have already as background in a supervisory management to use them again. Include task-oriented management involving direct supervision of subordinate and employee-oriented management, when management attempts to motivate rather than to control workers. You see, when you're talking about the style, we emphasize on the motivation than control, because control is the last function. People must first start acting so that you'll be able to control. Now, if the people, they don't act, how are you going to control? You can plan, you can organize. Now, people must act. Now, in acting, That we are talking about direction, we are talking about coordination, we are talking about leadership, we are talking now about motivation, how to motivate them. Now when they start to behaving, working, then you can be able to control. That is about now leadership style. Leadership style is task oriented and employee oriented. All right. Let's see, this is the first guy who's going to help us to understand. As we said, we have different styles in leadership. Let's see Hersey and Blanchard situational leadership models. An effective leader is one who can diagnose the demands of the situation and the level of maturity of the followers, and after use the leadership style that is most appropriate. This is about Hersey and Blanchard. They said these two concepts. Firstly, to be able to diagnose. How do you diagnose? Diagnose the situation. First, you diagnose the situation. It's like when you go to the hospital, they have to diagnose the situation to know what is the type of sickness or illness or disease. The same for a leader. Must first be able to diagnose the situation, to know the demand of the situation. You see that already you can understand about problem solving. You have to know the problems that you are facing. And the level of maturity of the followers is very important. It's not only about you, leader, it's also about the level of the followers. This is about Hersey and Blanchard. The maturity of followers, very important. Then if you are able to understand the situation and see the level of your follower, then you are able to define the type of leadership style appropriate in the situation we are facing, which is at hand. The key concept in the theory are centered in the relationships between the following factors. The first one, the amount of task behavior the leader exhibits. What is task behavior? This is what the leader is doing. For instance, delegate responsibility. For instance, interact with people, communication, problem solving, decision making. This is the task behavior as a leader. Secondly, the amount of relationship between the leader provides. Relationship with who? With your followers. How do you interact them? How do you show that, how do you create enthusiasm in your team? The level of task relevant maturity that followers exhibit toward the specific goal, task, or function that the leader wants to accomplish. It's true, as a leader, you are seeing the goal. You want to achieve the goal. You want to influence these people to take them to the top of the mountain. But what is the level of maturity of your followers? You want to take the athlete to the top of the mountain. Are they fit to climb the mountain? That is maturity. They need a certain level of maturity to climb with you to the mountain. We have 4 levels of maturity because Hersey and Blanchard, the focus mostly on the followers, because you as a leader, you have the personality traits, you have the education, you have been taught, you have learned, so you are already fit as a leader. Now let's see about the followers that you have. There are 4 levels of maturity for the followers. We start with the first one, the low level. Low ability, low willingness. This is an able and insecure follower, because all the followers, they don't have the same level of maturity. Then you have to know each and every one, so that you'll be able, when you interact with them, to take them to the high level. That is leadership, to influence someone. They say for a follower who is unable and insecure, so you find that there is low ability for performance and low willingness. There they define that lack knowledge to complete the task, that is ability. So if someone doesn't know what to do, how is it going to complete the task? So that is low ability. Secondly, in terms of willingness, cannot take on responsibility. You see, we discuss in terms of task behavior of leadership, there is also delegation of responsibility. You have to delegate. You see, a good example is if someone is a shepherd. I always like to use this example. A shepherd is a human being, but is dealing with animals. And all the animals, in terms of age, they are different. And the step of the way they're behaving is also different. You see here, it's the same of the people that you as a supervisor will be facing with. They don't have, all of them, the same level of maturity. You find someone at this level, low ability, low willingness. So he doesn't have the knowledge. That's why mostly we have to train people or send them to the training center. Then also, there are people who are not, they don't have level of taking responsibility. They really need for someone to be there so that they can do the work. Because remember, responsibility is the obligation of performance, obligation doing something. So if the supervisor is not there, it's difficult for him to perform. Fear, that is the first level. We go to the second level. Unable but willing. So here we see keeps the low and some ability but high willingness. So this guy has got lack, doesn't know what to do, knowledge to complete the task, but willing to work on improving skills. These are the people then you can find when really you send them to the training center, they will go willingly and they will improve in terms of the skill that they're going to gain, and when they'll be back, you'll see that it will be changed, they'll be effective for the company. Unable but willing, because they're high willingness, willing to work on improving skills. Though they don't have knowledge, so they need to be sent somewhere, sometimes like others, the company, sending them to the college to get knowledge. Third person, capable but insecure. So this is high ability, low, some willingness. Able to complete task, that is ability, but won't take responsibility, perhaps due to lack of confidence. These are the people that have got lack of confidence. So they're undermining themselves. The reasons are many. When someone can just undermine himself, his self-esteem is broken. He doesn't have it, but he's able to complete the task. He has knowledge. The last one is capable and confident. High ability, high willingness. So able to complete task and willing to take responsibility. Now you see that with Hersey and Blanchard, situational leadership models, they mostly focus on the followers, because you as a leader, you have the package that need for you to perform your behavior, your task as a leader. But what about your followers? Now, if you understand your followers on this 4 level, so you are able to treat each and every one so that you take all of them to the maturity, then they will be able to accomplish the goals together with you. Task relevant maturity. Task relevant maturity, if you want to define it, is a desire for achievement based on the need to set high but attainable goals, the willingness and ability to accept responsibility, and the education, experience, and skills relevant to the task. So you see that with task relevant maturity, what a leader has to do is to deal with his followers, to treat them, to educate them, to make them responsible, to create willingness, to bring education, to take them to training center for experience improvement of skill, so that you now be able to reach the goals you yourself as a leader. Task relevant maturity is composed of two dimensions, namely psychological maturity and job maturity. Now we see that in psychological maturity, we are dealing with the mindset, and job maturity, we are dealing with the skill. Now, task behavior and relationship behavior are independent. That we are talking about someone low ability, and also there is no willingness. So task behavior is a skill. Relationship behavior is about the mindset. They're independent. So you as a leader, when you are dealing individually with your followers, make sure that you understand the level of task behavior and the level of relationship behavior of your followers. 4 possible combinations were developed. We have situation 1, high task and low relationship. You see, we have in situation 2, high task and high relationship. We have situation 3, when we have low task and high relationship. We have situation 4, when we have low task and low relationship. Let's see this table here. With this table of HACCP, you see that vertically we have relationship behavior, horizontally we have task behavior. So we have the arrow which is showing us when the task behavior is low and when the task behavior is high. Then we have relationship behavior when it's high and when it's low. Let's start with the first one, where everything is low. That is the left hand side, the bottom cell, R4. When we have low relationship and low task, here they say that is about delegating style. I'll explain this later. When we move to the second one, there we have high relationship. I mean the third, R4. I started with R4. Now I'm going to R3, where I have high relationship and low task. Here, able but unwilling. Then we call it participating style. That's what we need in this case. Then we have high relationship and high task. Unable but willing. This we have selling style. Then we have the last one, unable, where we have low relationship and high task, which is unable and unwilling. Now, with this table, what we are seeing is when we have low relationship and low task, here we need observing and monitoring, so that we'll be able to delegate using delegating style. Now, when we go to S3, high relationship and low task, then you see that in here we need encouraging and problem solving of the situation. Then we talk about participating. Now, when we go to high task and high relationship, here we need to explaining and persuading. Then we're talking about selling. And lastly, high task and low relationship. Here we need to guiding and to give direction. Then we call it telling. Now, if you remember in N4 supervisory, we discussed about this leadership style. Type in different situations. If you find that you need to define the employee's role clearly, you need to tell him or her how, when, and where to perform the job task. Then the style that we have to use in this case is a telling leadership style. Now, if you find that you have to provide a direction, but not in such detail, start providing support to the employee. Ask for the employee's opinion. If you find in this case, then you find in selling leadership style. Now, if you find that you reach the level you can delegate tasks to the employee, remain involved in order to facilitate decisions, share decision making with the employee, then you know that in this case you need participating leadership style. If you find that you expect the employee to carry out his or her own job function independently, take over some of the supervisor's own responsibilities, meet from time to time to review projects. So in this case, the style that we have to use is the delegating style. So this is about Hersey and Blanchard. Different type of leadership styles that they have developed. Management grid. Two-dimensional view of leadership style was developed by Black and Moulton. These are the second couple of people that developed also another type of leadership styles. Black and Moulton with management grid. The management grid enables a business leader to classify himself in terms of caring about people and caring about production. Now here, unlike others, they were seeing maturity of people. Now here, the aid, because when they say you have to care about the people, then they care about production. You see, about production. The graph gives a tool of 81 different leadership styles. How many? 81 styles. We see the group. So where a particular leader's style may belong at a given moment. You understand that in terms of leadership style, there is not only one. Like here with Black and Moulton, 81 different leadership styles. The roster does not indicate the result achieved, but rather the dominating factors that play a part in obtaining certain result. This is the purpose of leadership, is obtaining the result. That you say you influence, you show the direction, you communicate the direction, and you take people to the level of obtaining the result required. The most important styles are like style 1-1. Let's see the graph. This is the table when we have the grid, management grid. Management grid, you can see that if we start with 1-1, we have horizontally we have concern for production, vertically we have concern for people. So with 1-1, that means there is no concern for people, there is no concern for production. Now in this case, the management is poor, because No one is concerned about people. No one is concerned about production. Now, when you go to 1.9, the 1 is horizontal, so it means we don't concern for people. 9 is vertical. We don't concern for production. 9 is vertical. We concern for people. So you don't mind production, you only mind the people. So this, they call it a country club management. You just play with people, but what about the production? You can spend money to train people, but at the end of the day, for instance, the production is still low. It's the problem. You have to find out why. You have trained your people, you have concern for people, but the production is still low. So there is a problem. Otherwise, the country club management, you'll be in trouble as a supervisor. Let's see 9.1. 9.1, 9 is horizontal, that means concern for production. 1 is vertical, you don't concern for people. Then they say authority compliance management. You only want people to produce, but you don't mind the level, for instance. How are they going to? So it will be a dictatorial leadership. You impose people to do what they are not capable of doing it. We go to the top 9. This is a team management, because you concern for people, also concern for production. You train your people, you see the result. Then this is a team management. And in the middle, we have 5.5. That means middle of the road management. 50% concern for people, 50% also production. This is the process. If you go back to what you have seen about task behavior, you see the maturity of your people. You are busy. You see that you can take the SC and Black Chart leadership styles. You bring Black and Mountain leadership styles. Then you see with all of them, you need them, mingle them together. Then you come out with the solution. Now we have Johari window. The third one also has developed leadership styles. The Johari window model is a simple and useful tool for illustrating and improving self-awareness and mutual understanding between individuals within a group. This now is about team management within the group. You remember in terms of induction, we've seen in N4 talking about induction. They say that if you fail the objective of induction, so the life of this new employee is at stake. Why? Because he wants to feel integrated. Because when the purpose of induction is at the end of the day for the new employee to feel integrated in the company. This is now the base of Johari window, is thinking about the group, interaction with people in the group. The model is used to assess and improve a group's relationship with other groups. It's not only about you as a leader and the followers. It's also about these followers, how do they interact them? Because you have seen that there is a different level of maturity in the group. Its concept is particularly helpful to understanding employee-employer relationship within the psychological contract, the mindset, and the behavior, performing skill and mindset, two things which are different. So we have to work on both. The Johari windows, 4 regions. We have areas, quadrant, perspective, which are as follows. Let's see first that table, that is, we'll come to that. What is known by the person about him, herself, and is also known by others. We call it open area, open self, free area, free self, or arena. Now let's go to the table. Jewelry windows is information tool or model which helps to understand our interpersonal relationship with ourselves as well as others. Team spirit, team management, that is jewelry window. We start with the first one on top. Open self, information about you that both you and others know when we are open. So people must be open so that we'll be able to know the level of maturity. Blind self, information about you that you don't know but others do know. If the people, they know that you don't know and they don't do anything to help you to know, because you yourself, you don't know that you don't know. You are busy performing something with mistake and you think that what you are doing is correct, where others, they know that what you are doing is wrong and they don't want to tell you. How are you going to improve as a team? So we have to break this blind self to tell you that, guy, what you are doing is wrong. This is the way of doing it. Because you don't know, but them, they know. Hidden self, information about you that you know but others don't know. Now, if you know something which others, they don't know, if you want to improve, cooperate. Either you help them because you find that you know them, they don't know, or you know that you don't know and them, they don't know that you don't know. So tell them that you don't know so that they can help you. Don't hide. Unknown self, information about you that either you know or others know. So here is just ignorance, everyone ignorant. That is where you, as a leader now, you come on top of the game as a coach, because a coach is there to help everyone. We said it with level of maturity. You must be able to know each and every subordinate, each and every follower, because leadership is about also follower. How do you influence these followers? Like the example I said, you are a shepherd with sheep, and this sheep, the level of sheep in terms of age is different, in terms of gender is different, in terms of mindset is different, in terms of skill is different. Then we have to deal with all these issues to bring this team together. Then you can reach the goal, you as a leader. So this is about leadership. Jewelry window continued. The aim in any group should always be to develop the open area for every person, because we need to work with others to be effective and productive, and the group is at its most productive. You see, this is about team management, to build team spirit. The open area, free area, or the arena can be seen as the space where good communications and cooperation occur, free from distractions, mistrust, confusion, conflict, and misunderstanding. Relationship. How do you interact with people? Establishing team members logically tend to have larger open. How do we build the team spirit? New team members start with relatively small open areas because relatively little knowledge about the new team member is shared. That's why I was talking about induction. Because in induction, where we integrate new member. So if we fail in induction, we have jeopardized the life of this new member. We must make sure that 100% is integrated. Then it's a good open door for him to perform well as a new member in the team. So we see that leadership is not only about you as a leader. Leadership is you as a leader and also about the